So in the last classes we have seen about the operation, construction and the principle of the induction motor. Okay, and also we have seen some examples of the induction motor based on the frequency and slip. Okay, so today we will be dealing with how to start the induction motor, because starting of any motor is very important. Already we have discussed that induction motor is a self-starting motor. Okay, induction motor is a self-starting motor. It is a self-starting motor. It means that I don't need any auxiliary starter or additional starter or external starter to make the motor start. That is evident because we have seen when I apply the three-phase supply to the stator winding, when I give three-phase supply to the stator winding, this three-phase flux created by the three-phase current drawn from the source will give the resultant flux, and that resultant flux is rotating in nature. That rotating flux due to the relative motion between this rotor conductor and the RMF, an EMF is induced in this rotor conductor, and this rotor, because it is short circuited, okay, it starts carrying current. It will create its own flux, and those two fluxes created in the air gap will interact and the force is exerted. So this is the operation of induction motor briefly. And here nowhere I have seen the assistance required by the additional system to make the motor start. Simply apply the three-phase supply and keep the rotor short circuited. That's it. It is the necessity to start the motor. And by default my rotor is always short circuited. Therefore I don't need any external device or any external system to make the motor start. Hence three-phase induction motor is known as self-starting motor. But now the question is, why I have to study about the starter of induction motor? Okay. So at the outset, I would like to tell you that starter, okay, in induction motor, starter in induction motor is not to start the motor, but to control the starting current. Is not to start the motor but to control the starting current. Okay. Now why the question is why the starting current is large? Okay. Because we know that the motor is at standstill before it is supplied with the electrical voltage. Now we know that it is the nature of every body as per the Newton's first law. Okay, what does Newton's first law give us? It tells about the inertia, is it? Any body continues to be at rest or in motion unless and until the external force is applied to it or impact on it. So now, unless and until I apply the external voltage, current, whatever you can call, in general external energy, this rotor will be at standstill. Okay, it won't rotate. So it will be having its inertia. Okay. Now, if I want to make it rotate, I need external force. Now, when I give external force, okay, it has to come up from the standstill state and then start moving. You might have observed on yourself when we will be sitting and we want to walk. Okay, we put more force on our limbs, is it, on our legs and hands. If we are sitting on the floor, okay, if we are squatting on the floor, what we do, we put pressure on the floor with my hands and as well as with my legs. Then I stand up, then I start walking. Even if when I am standing and if you want to walk somewhere, the first step what you take, it takes more energy than the second step. So for example, early in the morning if you are getting up, okay, you have slept over complete night for almost 6 to 8 hours, and immediately you want to walk out of your room in the morning. Do you do it as easily as you do when you are sitting on the chair? It is not possible, is it? So, whenever I am at a rest for a long time, okay, my body has gained that state. Okay, my body has gained that state. Now I have to overcome that inertia, then I have to move ahead. After that, I will be getting moment of inertia. Okay, so now to do that, I need more energy. Okay, so when I am getting up of the bed, I put more pressure on the bed. Okay, then I will sit, then I get put more pressure on the through my limbs on the bed, then I will stand. Even when I want to walk, when I get up in the morning, it takes more energy. Is it? This is an everyday experience of ours. Same thing the motor will also experience. If motor is not running, it is standstill, or it is not running, or it is still for a time, then if it has to be started, then it has to overcome all its rest position, then it has to start into the motion. In this course of time, to get from the rest to the motion, it takes large amount of energy. Okay, so from where the motor has to get energy, I am applying the input in the form of supply voltage and the line current. So V into IL is my total input given to the motor, power. If you multiply it by time, it becomes energy. Okay, so we don't talk of in terms of energy, we talk in terms of time, power. Voltage, we know it is constant. The supply voltage across any terminals, whatever we connect, is constant. Therefore, voltage will remain constant, but I need the product of voltage and current large, because I need more power to get up, I need more power to run from the standstill condition. Definitely, the current drawn by the source will increase. Okay, what will be the value of this current? Increase means how many times? Will it be double? Will it be 3 times? Starting current will be generally 5 to 7 times of normal line current. Okay, if a uncontrolled motor I have, if I don't use starter and I don't use any starting mechanism, okay, simply I will connect this motor to a 3-phase supply and start it at full voltage. Then at start, for the fraction of second, I am not telling this current 5 to 7 times of line current will exist forever. No, only for fraction of second at the time of start. What happens is, if the line current rating is 10 amperes, then at the start it will draw at some around 50 to 70 amperes of current. Now imagine a winding of induction motor which is made to carry 10 amperes plus 25% of overload condition, that is 12 to 13 amperes, is now carrying around 40 to 50 amperes. Even if I take twice, it is large, but it is almost 5 times. Okay, so this starting current inrush, we call it as starting inrush current or starting current inrush. So this starting inrush of the current must be controlled. I cannot make it 0. If I make it 0, motor will not start. If I leave it as it is, motor winding may burn out. So in between not starting to burning out, I have to control. Okay, for that there are various methods. Okay, what various methods I can use is methods of starting. Methods of starting, I can use stator resistance, So starting current is nothing but my short circuit current. It is ISC. Because at the start rotor is not running, so relative motion between RMF and rotor is maximum, ns minus 0. Therefore induced EMF is maximum, current is maximum. It is as good as secondary short circuited transformer. So large current will be drawn. Okay, so I call that as short circuit current. Now methods of starting, I can use stator resistance. It is for both cage and wound motor. Second, rotor resistance. Rotor resistor method. It is only for wound motor. I can't use this for cage motor. Third, I can use auto transformer starter. Okay, it is for again both cage and wound. Okay, so these are very commonly used method of starting. Advanced methods are there, vector control method and V/F method. Those are the various methods which are very complex in nature to understand by you people. Okay, even those are not as per the content of your syllabus also. So these are very commonly used mechanisms of starting the induction motor. Using stator resistance method and auto transformer method, I can start both the motors, spiral cage as well as slip ring or wound motor. But if I have to use rotor resistance method, then strictly it is applicable for only wound motor or slip ring motor, because there is no possibility of external connection in cage rotor. Okay, so if I want to use starters, then there are two starters. Continue, it will come up here. Star delta starter and DOL starter, dual online, that is DOL starter. Okay, so this is for cage motor, this is for wound motor. Okay, if we use starters, generally we use a DOL starter for wound motor and star delta starter for cage motor. Okay, so these are various starting mechanisms of induction motor. The question is, even though the induction motor is self-starting, why should I use a starter? Even though induction motor is self-starting on itself, if I leave it on itself to start, then at the full voltage applied from the source, a large amount of current is drawn from the source. Okay, and this current is not drawn permanently. It is not that always the motor will draw 5 to 7 times the large current, line current. It will draw that amount of current until the speed of the motor reaches around 60 to 70% of synchronous value. Okay, because as synchronous speed increases, ns minus n decreases. It means that relative motion decreases, current in the rotor decreases. If current in the rotor decreases, current in the stator decreases. Okay, so therefore this value of current is drawn by the motor only when or only up to the motor reaches around 50 to 60% of its full load speed or rated speed or synchronous speed, whatever you can call it. Okay, so after that the current will be the normal current. And how much time it will take? It will take some milliseconds. This large current will not exist forever. If it exists forever, within minutes motor will burn out. So this large current will exist for few milliseconds. A fraction of second this will exist and the current will come back to its normal value, normal no load value or load value, whatever the motor is at that point of time. Okay, so now in detail we will be studying what is star delta starter, which is for our syllabus. Okay. Star delta starter. Okay, so as the name suggests, star delta. Okay, and you can observe this is the supply. Okay, three-phase supply. Okay, you can call it as RYB, three-phase supply. This stator winding, RYB of stator winding, is connected to this three-phase supply. This is a main switch. main switch that we use to open and close the connections. Normal switches what we have in our domestic appliances also, like that we have three-phase switch. That's it. That is the only difference. Okay, this is single pole, single throw switch. Okay, this is single pole, SP, ST. Only one side it can be connected. So one throw. Okay, sorry, not single pole, triple pole, TPST. 1, 2, 3, 3 poles. Triple pole, single throw switch. This is okay. Triple pole, triple pole, double throw. It can be connected up or as well as down. So double throw I have. So that is TPTT switch. Okay. So now it is observed that when I close the switch, these three lines are getting connected to three-phase supply, and this stator winding is getting connected to this three-phase supply. It means that I am connecting this three-phase stator of the induction motor to the three-phase supply. Okay. Why it is star delta known? Because in this starter what it is done is initially, okay, stator is in star connection. Initially stator is in star connection, okay, at start. Okay. During run stator is kept in delta connection. Stator is kept in delta connection. Okay. Now why this circus has to be done? This circus has to be done because you observe the three-phase connection. Now I have a three-phase connection here in star. Okay. So this is VL, which is equals to 450 volts. Normal three-phase value. This is ZPH. Per phase impedance of stator winding. Let us take it as 1 ohms. To understand the concept, okay? It won't be 1 ohms, it will be lesser than 1 ohms in machines. Now the same thing I will connect in delta. Okay. 1 ohms, 1 ohms, 1 ohms, and here I will connect VL is equals to 450 volts. Okay. Now I have IL and I have IL, I have IPH and I have IPH. Okay, I have IPH. Now let us find what are the currents in star connected stator and delta connected stator. Okay. In star connected, delta. So IPH is equals to IL and this is equals to, what is this? Is VPH divided by ZPH. VPH by ZPH. This is, what is VPH? VPH is 415 by root 3. Okay, so this will come out around 231 volts. Okay, 415 by root 3 will come out around 231 volts. Sorry, 239 volts. 239 volts. So now it is 239 divided by 1 is equals to, okay, 239 amperes. So this is at starting. Okay, initially my rotor is at short circuit condition and it is at standstill at starting. It is just an example. I am not telling that this will happen exactly the same way. Okay. Now how the currents are changing in star and delta I want to show. What will be the line current in star with the same amount of voltage and same impedance per phase, and what will be the line current in delta with the same amount of voltage and impedance per phase. Now this is what happens. IPH is equals to 239. Now what is here IL? This is equals to root 3 IPH. What is IPH? Is 415 by 1 in delta. Voltage across each phase is 450 volts divided by 1. So this is 415 amperes. Okay. Now, sorry, I cannot apply 415 volts here. Yes, we will see what will happen. Now what is IL? It is root 3 times into 415. It is 718 amperes. Okay, it is almost 3 times. It is almost 3 times. Okay. Now see, the impedance is same, line voltage is same. I haven't changed. Now, if I take the stator winding of the induction motor, squirrel cage induction motor, which is always connected in delta. Okay, stator winding of induction motor is generally connected in delta. Why? Because we use star delta starter. That is the reason. Okay. Now, without using star delta starter, if I connect the stator winding in delta and directly connect it with 450 volts line value, the current drawn is 718 amperes, roughly. Too large when compared to the current drawn by the star connection. See, the star connection is drawing 239 amps, delta is drawing 718 amps. Okay, but when connected in delta, generally we apply the effective voltage. That is, if the same star connected 450 volt line voltage system has to be connected in delta, then the applied voltage across each phase should be 415 by root 3. Okay, the voltage should be here. Now 415 by root 3. That is 239 divided by 239 divided by 1, 239 amps. But what is the line current IL? Root 3 times 239. Okay, so IL will be root 3 into 239. That will be equals to 415 amperes. Obviously, this is 415 amperes. Now, even if I apply the effective phase voltage of the 3-phase line 450 volts to the delta system, the current drawn by the line still is root 3 times larger than the star connection. So, if I connect the stator of the induction motor initially at star, then I am reducing the starting current by root 3 times. If I apply effective voltage, if I apply the same voltage, I am reducing it by 3 times. This is the reason why I use star delta starter. Okay, so when initially this starter will connect the 3-phase winding of the stator in star fashion. You can observe this is star start. Okay, now this switch is now connected to the lower 3 terminals. Therefore, the 3 ends of the winding, this end is connected to here, second is here, third is here, but remaining 3 are connected to this point. Now when the switch is getting connected to this point, 1, 2, 3 connections. 1, 2, 3 connections will get connected to these 3 points, and all the 3 points are connected to a common point. Sorry. All the 3 connections are connected to a common point. It means wherever there is a common point at the other ends of 3 phase winding, it will form a star connection. So when the switch position is down, it will be at starting position. Now when the speed catches up to 50 to 60% of its full load value, then I will turn the switch to the other side. When I turn the switch to other side, you can observe second end of first phase is connected to here. It will come here. First end of second phase. Okay. Second end of first phase is connected to the, sorry, where it is? Yeah. It is connected to the other end of second phase. Okay. Second end of second phase is connected to the other end of start of next phase. Second end of third phase is connected to first end of first phase. So when this lever will come to the delta side, this winding gets connected in delta. When this lever is coming on the star side, this winding will get connected in star. So this is manually operated, very old system. Today we have automatically operated star delta starters. Okay, after few timing will be given. Okay, then the connection is automatically switched from star connection to delta connection. In the older starters, it has to be done manually. Okay, so I have to switch the main supply on. Then this I had to ensure that initially this position was on star connection side. Then once the motor starts running, physically I have to observe the motor has started running. Then after some time, 1 or 2 seconds of the start of the motor, I have to switch this to the star connections, delta connections. So by the time large current drawn by the motor from the source would have been damped and come down to the normal value, and now the motor starts running normally. Now the question is, why not I directly connect the stator and star? Why I need to do all this circus that first put it in star, then put it in delta? Directly I can give the stator winding in star only. What is the problem? The problem is, in star, the line current drawn is √3 times lesser than the delta connection, is it? So the starting torque developed, okay, and the running torque developed will be √3 times lesser than the delta connected winding. Whatever the torque I needed to run the motor or run the load, because squirrel cage induction motor specifically is used for large load applications. It means heavy load applications. The load will be heavy mechanical load. Because the construction is very strong mechanically, I use squirrel cage motors for running the heavy load applications. But to run heavy load, I need more torque. But torque is depending upon the rotor resistance, and the rotor resistance of squirrel cage motor is very less. Therefore, the torque developed by squirrel cage motor is less. How I can improve? By providing more current. Torque is, we will get into the torque equation in DC motor. There you will study. Torque is always proportional to the current and flux. So if I have to increase the torque, my flux is remaining constant here, because supply voltage is constant, flux is constant. So if I have to increase the torque, I have to increase the current. How I can increase the current? By keeping that in delta. In delta, line current drawn is √3 times more than the star connection. So therefore, during running condition I need more current, during starting condition I need less current. Therefore, during starting condition I keep in star, and during running condition I keep in delta. This is the reason why I will go for star delta connection. Okay, so the starting current here in star delta connections, starter, okay, IST, starting current is equals to 1 by √3 times ISC, short circuit current. Okay, if there would have been no star delta starter, then whatever the current would have been drawn by the motor Okay, when I put the starter, that current becomes less by root 3 times. Okay, so this is the advantage of using star delta starter. So in induction motor, we use starters not to start the motor because induction motor is a self-starting motor, but to control the large inrush of the current, we use the starters. Okay, so this is all about the starting mechanism of induction motor. Okay, and this is the end of induction motor topic as per the syllabus mentioned. Okay, hope the things are clear, and these things will not be understood at once. Listening to the lecture only once, you need to go multiple number of times listening to the lecture, and you have to read this. Then you will be very clearly understanding the concepts, because most of the concepts in these machines are new to you, so it needs repeated reading. Okay, so we'll end this here. This lecture, sorry, not this lecture, this session on induction motors. Okay. Next we will move to DC machines. Module 4, DC machines.